we talked about tech, we talked about the art and the culture. I want to talk about community. I think when I look at, I joined the Rebels Discord a while ago, and it's just, the energy and how frenetic it is. It's just wonderful. It's like you see this with different projects, but here it's like I love how the communities come together. I love how you're like thinking about moderation. I think, Nas, when we first chatted, you talked about different languages and support for different languages. So again, for somebody who's new to the entire NFT space and wants to think about building a really authentic, strong community, like a crypto community, how do you go about building it, and how did you think about it when when you think about this project?
And by the way, just so you know, the Discord and the YouTube live comments are going crazy right now,
Yeah,
which is just like probably the craziest it's ever been for any one of our
I
episodes.
know.
It's just like it's all
I was
rebels.
gonna
It's not
say the
good
chat
versus
has
bad.
not
It's all
budged.
rebels.
I'm seeing a
It's
lot of
awesome.
people that I know saying a
Yeah.
lot of things that I understand, and people outside of the community
I
may
love it.
not.
A lot of people, by the way, think Nas, you're really good looking. So just putting it out there, right? Like on camera, on video, forever on the internet, and blah, you too, but but mostly Nas
Oh
is
no,
getting
no,
on.
I was saying Nas is good looking.
Yeah.
I can all
I've
agree.
been
Was not, hey, what about me? It was, he is.
I mean, I asked everyone to do hair and makeup, and I think only one of them listened. So, you know.
This is gonna be a great meme for now. Okay, Nas. All right, back to community. Let's.
back to community. I did not pay anyone to say to give compliments, so that's good. But yeah, like on the community, this is something that like we've been very that we've been extremely thoughtful about. And I'm gonna be honest. I think that like personally, I'm a huge fan in like reading about culture building, whether that's kind of like in society, companies, team culture, and so on. And actually, like one of the reasons why I went to A16Z is because I'm such a big fan of everything that I've read from Ben Horowitz, and all the culture, kind of like culture building lessons that he's been writing, across the multiple books that he wrote. And so, kind of took like a similar approach to that when it comes to community building. The idea is that you have, first and foremost, you have to be authentic to yourself, right? Like it just doesn't work if you're not authentic. This is kind of like a ticking time bomb, and kind of putting short-term incentive and kind of trying to game the system just doesn't work. We see a lot of that in the NFT space, but you have to walk the talk. That's just like how it is. And this is something that like why I was just so excited to work on this project, and get the advice from Lau, is because I feel like he's an amazing, authentic leader in the space
Yep.
and has been walking the talk for so many years now, right? Regardless of what everyone is
Thanks,
saying.
bro.
And so I think that like that was kind of like the first thing, being authentic. The second thing is like you have to build an environment that is inclusive, where every single person feel like they can build friendships, they can build experiences, they can talk about things that impact them positively, negatively, and so on. So we have like mental health channels, where people were kind of like talking about some mental health issues that they were going through, some people who went through a mental health issues, for example, and kind of like advice. We have amazing events where people can kind of like let their creativity appear, whether that's kind of like fun arts, whether it's people singing, rapping. We had like so many rap battles.
I know.
I can name like a few people, but like Uncle Beans, like you're always dropping insane bars. And so kind of like taking this approach of like not only making a nice space for the community, but also making it available across all the timelines, all the languages, so that like people don't feel left out, whether they're in India, in Russia, Ukraine, they can be in France, they can be in the US. We have so many people kind of like all around the globe building amazing stuff.
Mhm.
And another thing that we feel like is important within communities is kind of like the layering within the community. And this is something that is not talked about too much in general, that is critical. And just to give you an idea, it's like for me as myself, I feel and unique, and I feel that I'm also part of something amazing with many people. For example, even from like a geographic standpoint, I'm French, right? But I'm from Paris, and I'm from like a specific district within Paris, the 18th district, and within that I'm a specific neighborhood. And so it's very important to allow people to have multiple levels, right? Between any community within any ecosystem, right? Could be that like you're working within the Ethereum ecosystem, but you can be working within the, like say like scalability efforts, and within scalability you're going to be like specifically working on like zk rollups and so on, right? And just like having people feel like they're part of not only like a bigger whole, but at the same time kind of like their own sub community that is like that they feel like they contribute to and see like dramatic impact to, is very, very important. So fostering sub communities is something that we've been working on day one. We want every single person to kind of like create their own sub community. We try to foster them. We want to leverage actually customization to foster them. Like we want to give patches the ability for people to represent their sub community directly on their Rebel, right? This is critical. You want for people to be able to express very deeply their sub communities. Some people are talking about creating DAOs. There is like a French people who are trying to create a DAO. You have like the Japanese community that is trying to create a DAO. Chinese community is creating one right now. We haven't even launched, right? But we're behind trying to kind of, help these efforts scale. We're trying to support these efforts in any way we can. Creation of token, if they need anything operationally, we want to help. And so kind of like fostering for these sub communities is super important. A community is almost as strong as the sub communities within it.
I love that. And I think community, unfortunately, has become one of those buzzwords which gets thrown around a lot, right? Like a lot of projects say, we want to build a really strong community. Community is everything. But I genuinely feel like, when you think about community, I think the way you talked about different layers, a feeling of belonging. I think I saw the tweet show up, it's this feeling of like being respected.
Yeah, by the way, can I just say something? There's something the community on the live stream is absolutely demanding that we do right now. And that is SaaS. They feel like we have disrespected you by not acknowledging how good looking you also look.
Okay.
So I just have to call that out. Like, let's just keep the camera on SaaS for a while. And so like,
I just saw SaaS like cracking up a bit, and I was like, "What is going on?" And now
I
know.
I'm basically being bullied by the entire community on Discord right now. Like, there's it's really bad.
Yeah. I just want to say, people love your look, the jewelry. It's great. It's wild. I just want to kind of have that focus shot, like there, right there. We go, right. Like the good times are we listen to the people. We give the people what they want. Okay, sorry. Back to you.